Welcome back to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank y'all so much for stopping by again today. Beautiful Sunday morning here, man. It's not hot yet. Trust me. It's hotter than fish grease right now in the Philippines. But early morning, around 5 to 6:30, and then early evening from about 5 p.m. on, the weather's perfect. If anybody's wondering, it's not burning hot 24 hours a day over here, but this is the summer. But she said she'd rather be broke than to date a black man. This is the craziest story that I've ever been involved with in the Philippines in my 17 years of coming here. And it involved a friend of mine and a Filipina. The friend, to call him successful would be an understatement. This guy's a multimillionaire, probably the most accomplished human being I've ever met. White, black, Hispanic, whatever color. In his business days, he ran in circles that included Reginald F. Lewis. Yes, that Reginald F. Lewis, who at the time of his death in 1993 was the richest black man in America. And the Filipina, she's just a typical Filipina that you meet on the dating site. Fairly attractive, single mother with 2 kids. And that's it. I interviewed the young lady. And a lot of men were, interested in meeting her. So what eventually happened, he was already over here. And so he's like, it's his first time here. He's excited. I want to go to a resort, let's see the Philippines. And, he's got the resources. So he's going to pay for the van, the driver, the gas, the food, the hotel, everything. It's on him. So we introduce him and her together. She agrees, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to go. So a couple of days before we leave, they get to know each other. He goes over to the house and meets, the kids and stuff. Maybe gave her a few dollars or whatever. Well, to make a long story short, she never wanted him to begin with. Okay. In her mind, she wanted a white man. And so she ended up rejecting my friend. He really liked her. He probably would have married her, adopted her children, helped her family, gave her a life she probably never dreamed of. But she preferred white men. Okay, so she ended up with a white guy who was still working, just a regular white guy, came over here for 2 weeks, used her, abused her, and threw her in the trash. Okay? Be careful what you wish for. But the reason I'm telling the story is for a few different reasons, guys. Because I put this story up on my members only and I took it down. Let me be honest, because I said, people don't want to hear the truth. People always get offended, but they don't worry about when you're offended. Okay? But another reason was I did a video about a year ago, and it's trending again. The algorithm picked it up. It's getting just as many views as my new videos. And it was called A Trick Filipinos Play on Black Men. And I was warning black men on those dating sites to be careful. Because a lot of those women that you're meeting, they really want white men. But because white men aren't paying them any attention, they'll use you to get the visa, to get to America, and then they'll run off and get with who they really want. And it's truth to that, guys. It was true to her situation. She wanted a white man at her detriment. It was her loss. Okay, but a lot of these women, they don't know what they're doing on these dating sites. They have so little experience with foreign men. They're just going by what they hear. But you hear that it is true. Some Filipinos do prefer a white man, but that's nothing to brag about. That's nothing for you if you're not a white man to be upset about. Okay, because let's just be honest, man. And I don't care if this offends anybody or not. We know who the prize is. in these relationships. Okay, so who cares what she prefers? She really prefers Filipino men. So as a black man, I'm not offended because I know for a fact that the only women who prefer me are black women. So if that's a big deal to me, guess what? I'm only gonna date black women. But see, I'm gonna put my best foot forward. I know my self-worth. I know my value. So no matter where I go, somebody's gonna find me. Somebody's gonna prefer me, and all it takes is one. I don't have to have all the women to like me. Okay? But when they say she prefers a white man instead of a black man, or Hispanic man, or Asian man, consider that a win, guys. Okay? Because of some of these women over here, I'm talking about the women on the dating site. Let me make that clear. I'm not talking about all Filipinos because you know what I'm saying. I'm not generalizing. Some of these women, man, are headaches. Okay? It's a win when she don't choose you. How many black men have you seen on Rafi Tufo? Okay, I end my story right there. But I'm not offended by that. But another reason I'm talking about, because this story has some twists and turns to it. You know, Pro-Life Traveler was kicked out of the Philippines. It doesn't matter where you were for him or against him, but he got kicked out. One of the things they kept harping on, and they played it on a loop over and over, was when he called those tricycle drivers in Dumaguete monkeys. He said they look like monkeys. He started making a monkey sound. He was wrong for that. He was dead wrong for that. And the Filipinos should have dealt with him, which they did. They were offended by that. Okay, just hold that image in your head. Because this story goes down that path. We're in the van. We're going to the nice island or the resort, and we're all coupled up. It's him and her, me and Merle, and a couple more couples, all black men, all Filipinos. Well, he's trying to do what couples do. He's trying to see, hey, is there a spark here? Is there a mutual connection? Or am I in the friend zone? So he scoots closer to the lady. I guess he wants a hug or maybe, you know, just some show of affection or maybe a peck on the cheek. Well, later on, she said she turned to look at him and he looked like a gorilla. See, we didn't know that because they're speaking in their language. If you ever been around, you know, Filipinos and foreigners, Filipinos are always going to, you know, be speaking their language. We're speaking ours. It was only later on that we found out that she called him a gorilla. And I was offended. Yeah, I was offended. Because I'm like, lady, if you think black men look like gorillas, who else thinks black men over here look like gorillas? Okay? But instead of her just being an adult and saying, you know, I'm not interested, you know, no. She stays there for the 3 or 4 days, sucks up his hospitality, but makes it known that they're not together, they're not a couple. And she comes back and basically, you know, runs off with that white guy. And like I said, the white guy ended up using her and throwing her in the garbage. But here's where this story takes a crazy turn. She ended up meeting another black man. He swooped in and saved her, married her, gave her the visa, and took her to America. See, y'all think I just be on here talking. That woman wants a white man that he's with, okay? Because she would rather be broke than to date the black man. One of the most outstanding human beings you'll ever meet was right there in her face, handed to her on a silver platter. She didn't want it, okay? A lot of these women over here need to throw their pickers away. They don't know what they're doing. I tell you all the time, they get lucky. We don't. We get unlucky. They get lucky. So when you hear that stuff, oh, Filipinos prefer white men outside of Filipino men. If they're going to date outside their race, they prefer white men. Okay, so what? Thank you. You're going to save me a lot of headache, a lot of money. Okay, I don't have to worry about being on Rafi twofold. So thank y'all so much for stopping by. Some people don't want to hear the truth, man. You know, they just want to hear this old sugar-coated bullshit. I'm telling you real life stuff that goes on over here. Certainly in that dating scene. Give a damn who they prefer. Okay? You think the rabbit is mad because human beings prefer chicken? Absolutely not. Okay? A lot of rabbits are still running around here acting a damn fool because of that. And that's the same way with a lot of other people over here. Happy as a lark because they're not being hunted. I'm so glad I'm not the prey. So if in America, if you're in the Philippines, wherever you are, find it in your heart to help somebody. Now the day goes by, I don't help somebody. We spin the wheel 2 times last night. We're going to do that until this old fucked up war in Iran, and I said fucked up. That's how I feel about it. It's over. People are struggling. They have nothing to do with that bullshit over there. Okay? Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. When we help other people, we help ourselves. Take care. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. I'll see you next time. And don't do anything stupid. Don't get offended because you hear, oh, Filipinos prefer white men. Oh, they do? Well, thank you. I'm glad. I'm not offended by that. I know who the prize is in this relationship. You're not fooling nobody. Okay, a lot of the women on those dating sites I'm talking about, they have no clue what they're doing anyway. They're just going by what they hear. Oh, they got more money, they're more educated, it's a status symbol. Okay, and you end up getting mistreated. You end up getting used and thrown in the garbage. I'm so glad that I'm not being hunted today. I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm going to be authentic because I know my value. And somebody's always going to find me.